Have you ever wondered why Japanese minimalist homes feel so incredibly peaceful? There's no excess, no flashy decoration, just open spaces, thoughtful simplicity, and a quiet kind of warmth. While many of us are trying to have more in order to feel fulfilled, the Japanese have chosen to have less, in order to live more deeply. And strangely enough, it's this very simplicity that makes their lives quietly rich. I know the feeling of living in a space full of things, yet still feeling empty. Waking up in a rush, ending the day exhausted, and carrying that constant thought in your mind, I really need to sort my life out. So, how do we break that cycle? How do we create a space and a state of mind that feels truly light and clear? The answer perhaps lies in the minimalist lifestyle of Japan. In today's video, I'll walk with you through each intentional phase of transforming your home into a true sanctuary, a space that is not only tidy, but meaningful, calming, and deeply aligned with who you are. From mental preparation to applying the principles of Danshari, from maintaining long-term simplicity to embracing the quiet beauty of Wabi-Sabi, each phase is a gentle step forward. You don't have to change everything overnight, but I believe that once you begin, even the smallest shift can start to change everything. Phase 1: mental preparation and goal setting. Before we touch anything in our home, we need to touch something far more essential: our state of mind. Minimalism doesn't begin with removing. It begins with remembering. Remembering how we live, how we choose, and how the little things gradually take over not just our space, but our inner world. Japanese minimalism isn't just a way to decorate your home. It's a philosophy of life, gently wrapped in quiet simplicity. It is rooted in Zen, which invites us to return to the present moment, letting go of excess to rediscover the essence of being. It's infused with the spirit of Wabi-Sabi, where imperfection, impermanence, and simplicity are not flaws but beauty itself. And it is softened by Ma, the intentional emptiness, where silence is not absence, but presence in its purest form. In a modern world where everything races forward faster, louder, shinier, our minds become tired. Each advertisement becomes a call to possess. Each social media scroll becomes an invitation to compare. And gradually we lose clarity. We live among things, yet feel empty. We are offered endless choices, yet no longer know where to begin. Japanese minimalism doesn't come to strip you of your belongings. It comes to ask a simple question: what truly matters to you? And when you can answer that, everything else begins to fall into place. Modern science also supports what ancient wisdom has long known. Clutter isn't merely visual, it is emotional, mental, and physiological. It raises stress hormones, overwhelms the senses, and clouds the mind. Every unnecessary item is a decision not made, a weight our minds carry in silence, day after day. A minimalist space is not just neat. It is a message to your nervous system: you are safe. You are in harmony. You are in control. When you enter a room that breathes simplicity, your mind breathes with it. And to create that space, you must first return to your why. Not because someone told you to live minimally, not because you watched a video or read a book, but because somewhere deep inside, you long to return to something simpler. To live in a home that feels light. To breathe in a rhythm that is slow and intentional. Write it down. Write it slowly. Write it honestly, as if you were speaking to the truest version of yourself. When you write, your brain begins to shift from vague desire to deliberate action. Writing down a goal doesn't just record it, it activates the part of your brain responsible for conscious decision-making. It anchors your direction. It reminds you that you are not drifting, you are choosing. Minimalism doesn't need to begin with a grand gesture. It can begin with one choice, one drawer, one quiet morning. What matters is that it begins from clarity. That you know how you want to feel when you come home. That you choose to live with only what carries meaning, not just what carries dust. When you have a clear goal, you place the first stone on your path of transformation. It doesn't need to be fast. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. And once your mind is ready, once your words reflect your deepest intentions, you will have already taken the most powerful first step. A small one, but one that changes everything. Now, with this inner clarity, we're ready to move into one of the core teachings of Japanese minimalism, Danshari, a principle that will gently guide us in learning how to choose, how to let go, and above all, how to release with peace. Phase 2: applying the Danshari principles. Once the mind has been gently prepared, once you've taken time to listen inward, this is where we begin to move. But in Japanese minimalism, action is never rushed. It isn't about storming through your space or tossing things away in a hurry. It's a quiet inner ritual, one that begins with intentional choice. Danshari is an invitation to return to mindfulness. Introduced by Hideko Yamashita, it is not just a method of decluttering, it is a way of living, a gentle art of releasing burden, both physical and emotional. Its 3 steps, Dan, Sha, and Ri, are like a soft staircase that guides us from chaos to calm. We begin with Dan, refusal. This first step teaches you how to prevent clutter before it enters your life. Refusal is not about rejection, it's about conscious filtering. It's the moment you pause before bringing something into your home and ask yourself, do I truly need this? It's when you stop consuming out of habit and begin choosing with awareness. You observe your desires before they become purchases. You recognize that every item is a relationship, and you have the right to choose which relationships deserve your energy. Refusing is also an act of self-respect. Each time you say no to what is unnecessary, you protect your space, both your physical space and your inner peace. You preserve room for what truly matters. Then comes Sha, letting go. This is where you begin to face what you already have. Not everything still serves your present life. Some things were once useful, once cherished, but now lie dormant. Some items carry memories, expectations, or even guilt. Letting go is not about betraying the past. It is about honoring the present. When you learn to place the needs of your current self above the regrets of your past, healing happens. Letting go also reminds you of your limits. Your space is limited, your time is limited, and your mental capacity is limited. If you continue to hold on to what is no longer serving you, you unintentionally close the door to what could nurture you now. And finally, redetachment. This is the deepest step, no longer just about action, but about transformation in thought. When you begin to separate your identity from your possessions, when you no longer define your worth by what you own, you become lighter. You stop fearing loss. Instead, you start feeling full through emptiness. Detachment is the affirmation of inner freedom. You are no longer led by trends. You no longer rely on material things to feel secure. And you come to realize that what you truly need is not hidden in a branded bag or a crowded bookshelf, but in the ability to take a deep breath in a quiet, open space. A space no longer cluttered, no longer heavy, no longer whispering demands. Danshari is not just about organizing your home. It is about organizing the way you live, the way you choose, the way you move through this world. When you learn to refuse, to release, and to detach, you are not merely tidying up, you are clearing a path for your spirit to move freely. And when you step out of this phase, you are no longer someone who is just cleaning. You are someone who is transforming from a life of excess to a life of meaning. From a world of too much to a world that is just enough. Phase 3, step-by-step execution. After fully understanding the spirit and principles of Japanese minimalism, and once your mind is prepared, this is where the abstract begins to take shape. Yet even in action, the Japanese spirit invites us to move slowly, steadily, and with presence. No one enters minimalism with a sudden, sweeping purge. In Japan, the journey begins with a ritual Oosouji, a deep cleaning practice that resets both the physical space and the mind. Traditionally performed at the end of the year to welcome renewal, Oosouji is more than tidying. It is a symbolic act that invites freshness and clarity into one's life. Each motion of cleaning becomes a quiet ceremony, gentle, respectful, and filled with intention. Rather than merely wiping surfaces, Oosouji encourages you to look deeply into the forgotten corners of your home, the hidden drawers, the overlooked spaces. And as you wipe away dust, you also begin to clear the fog from your mind. As you let fresh air in through open windows, you invite in transformation and release. This practice carries deep cultural significance. Since the Heian period, it has been seen as a way to drive away stagnant energy and invite auspiciousness into the home. Performed with mindfulness, it becomes more than cleaning. It becomes a moment of realignment between the self and one's environment. Once your space has been cleansed, you begin the process of intentional selection, where the KonMari philosophy becomes a gentle and trusted guide. It is not simply about deciding what to keep or discard. It's about reconnecting with your belongings on a deeper level. Instead of asking whether something is still functional, you hold each item and ask, does this spark joy? Though this question may seem simple, it opens a door to honesty, to self-awareness, to remembering what truly matters. Gathering similar items in one place allows you to see the full picture. Only then can you truly understand how much you own. And only by touching each item with care can you distinguish between what uplifts you and what silently weighs you down. What sets the KonMari method apart is its spirit of gratitude. Before letting anything go, you thank the item for its memories, for its service, for having once been part of your life. This gratitude softens the release. It makes parting gentle, not guilt-ridden. When practiced with sincerity, this process doesn't just make your home neater. It brings clarity to your sense of self. You begin to understand that minimalism is not about having less, it's about experiencing more meaning in what you choose to keep. Then, each room in your home becomes part of this unfolding journey. Japanese minimalism does not impose emptiness. It celebrates thoughtful intention. Every space serves a clear purpose. Every corner breathes stillness. Every detail reconnects you with nature. The bedroom, for instance, is treated as a sacred place for deep rest. The Japanese keep this space as minimal as possible, retaining only what truly supports restful sleep. A low bed, gentle lighting, neutral tones, and the absence of electronics. Because rest is not only physical, it is a spiritual act of healing. The kitchen, too, carries the same energy, a space for nourishment, both physical and emotional. Every item has its place and its purpose. Rarely used tools are stored out of sight, while daily essentials remain accessible. This simplicity and arrangement brings ease in action. Cooking becomes less of a chore and more of a meditative moment of connection. And then, there's the living space as the heart of the home. Here, minimalism honors the beauty of intentional emptiness. These empty spaces are not voids. They are invitations for breath, for stillness, for presence. They allow your eyes to rest, your thoughts to settle, and energy to flow. When each room is cared for in this way, your home gradually becomes a quiet sanctuary, a small, everyday temple. A place where each step, each motion, is an expression of presence. And slowly, you begin to realize minimalism is not the end goal. It is the bridge, a bridge that leads you to a deeper, gentler, and more mindful way of living. Phase 4. Building a long-term maintenance system. Once you've tidied your space, rearranged each room, and moved through a mindful journey of simplification, a natural question arises: how can this lightness be sustained over time? Because minimalism isn't a one-time event, it's a rhythm of living, a way you relate to your space every single day. That's why creating small but steady systems becomes the foundation for preserving this sense of peace in your everyday life. First, think about those moments when you come home after a long day. Where do your keys go? Your mail? Your bag? If there's no designated place for these daily essentials, they will eventually pile up, quietly creating chaos. Establishing a clear drop zone for everyday items is more than a tidy habit. It's a gentle reminder that everything has its place, and you don't have to bring the noise of the outside world into your home. These small landing spots, a tray by the door, a hook beside the shelf, help you temporarily store without building clutter. Each time you place something in its rightful place, you are telling yourself, I'm home. I'm safe now, but maintenance cannot fall on one person alone. A living space is shared, and for minimalism to truly work, it must be embraced collectively. When everyone understands that tidiness is a gift for the whole family, not a chore, the small actions of each day become natural parts of life. Tidying up a work desk, putting away toys, resetting the kitchen counter. Rather than imposing rules, invite participation. Let each person feel included in shaping the space and in sustaining it. When every member sees their role clearly, the home becomes a reflection of shared care and mutual respect. To prevent clutter from creeping back, it helps to have gentle guiding principles. One such principle is to only handle it once. When you pick something up, a letter, a piece of laundry, a receipt, deal with it right away. Don't set it aside for later, because each small delay is a weight added to your future self. And over time, those little weights become overwhelm. Taking immediate action, putting things away, completing a task, closing a loop, is an act of protecting the energy of your home. Every time you do this, you quiet a little noise in your mind, Another subtle way to maintain clarity is by making things explicit. Labeling drawers, cabinets, and storage spaces may seem simple, but it removes confusion. It prevents decision fatigue. It streamlines flow. When you give every item a clearly named home, the house begins to run like a gentle, intuitive system. You spend less time searching. You feel less stress. And organization becomes effortless. Labeling isn't rigidity, it's a quiet form of freedom. When everything has its place, your energy is free to focus on what truly matters: a peaceful meal, an afternoon of reading, or a quiet evening where nothing feels out of place. And finally, don't forget to look up. In traditional Japanese homes, even vertical space is treated with care and awareness. When you begin to utilize height through floating shelves, wall boards, layered storage, you release the floor. You allow breathing room. You create openness, even in the smallest spaces. A room doesn't have to be large to feel spacious. With thoughtful arrangement, even a compact home can feel as serene as a Zen garden. Everything present has purpose. Everything left out has meaning. When these small systems are gently repeated each day, not perfectly, but intentionally, they become your new rhythm. And in that rhythm, you find a clarity that supports not only your physical surroundings, but the quiet well-being of your heart. Phase 5. Embracing the Wabi-Sabi spirit. Once you've gently removed what no longer serves you, once every corner of your home has been touched by mindfulness, and minimalism has become a natural rhythm of your daily life, then it's time to enter the most subtle and profound phase of this journey, embracing the beauty of imperfection, embracing the spirit of Wabi-Sabi. Wabi-Sabi is not just a style of design, it is a way of seeing the world, a quiet acceptance that everything changes, everything fades, and that is what makes life beautiful. Through this lens, roughness, asymmetry, and signs of aging are not flaws, but evidence of life lived. A reminder of time, presence, and authenticity. In design, Wabi-Sabi turns away from sterile perfection and welcomes the imperfect, the handmade, the weathered. A wooden table with uneven grain, a ceramic bowl with a hairline crack, or a wall marked by time, these are not blemishes to hide, but character to honor. These objects speak, and their quiet stories are what give your home warmth, depth, and soul. Choosing to keep an imperfect object not out of guilt or obligation, but because you genuinely feel connected to it, is to live in the spirit of Wabi-Sabi. This choice is not guided by modern standards of new or flawless, but by feeling. Does this item still bring me peace? Does it support the life I'm living now? If the answer is yes, then no chip or stain can take away its worth. This mindset extends beyond objects. It begins to influence how you see yourself. You stop chasing perfection. You start honoring the scratches in your own story. You see yourself in your home through eyes of softness and understanding. In Wabi-Sabi, natural materials hold a special place. Not because they are luxurious or rare, but because they are alive. Wood, stone, linen, paper, they change with time. They soften, darken, crack, and fade. And rather than hiding these shifts, Wabi-Sabi invites them to be seen. Because change is not decay, it is evolution. It is the nature of all things. The colors in a Wabi-Sabi home follow this same philosophy. Nothing loud, nothing demanding attention. Just quiet, grounding tones, off-whites, soft grays, earthy browns. Hues that soothe the senses and give space for texture and light to speak. Color here is not for show. It's for stillness. A home infused with Wabi-Sabi is a place where you can exhale, sit down, and simply be. It is not a place of striving, but of arriving. A place where nothing needs to be perfect, yet everything feels right. Where you are free to be wholly yourself, no more, no less. Much like a Japanese garden in autumn, where golden leaves fall without fuss, where stones lie still, and raked sand forms uneven curves, beauty in Wabi-Sabi is not loud or polished. It is still. It is present, and it whispers gently, everything is as it should be. When you truly embrace the Wabi-Sabi spirit, you begin to realize that minimalism isn't just about tidying up. It's about transforming your way of seeing your relationship to things, to time, and to your own imperfections. And when that shift happens, your home becomes something more than a place to live. It becomes a place to return to, a space for healing, for quiet, for depth, a sanctuary for the soul. Now, Tell me what part of this video spoke to you the most. Where do you feel called to begin applying Japanese minimalism in your own life? Leave a comment below saying, "I will live more simply and intentionally," to let me know you're ready to take that first step. And if there was a part of the Wabi-Sabi philosophy that made you pause and reflect, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts with me. If this video brought you inspiration or a sense of calm, don't forget to like and subscribe. Here, we're not just talking about decluttering spaces, we're exploring how to live more gently, more consciously, and more connected to who we really are. If you'd like to keep diving into videos about minimalism, slow living, and Japanese culture, make sure to turn on notifications so you won't miss a thing. And if you know someone who's longing to find peace in their own home, share this video with them. It might be the nudge they've been waiting for. We can't change our lives overnight, but small choices like keeping only what truly matters or learning when to let go can slowly lead us home to something much more peaceful. I'll see you in the next video. And now, it's time to come home to yourself.